welcome to our VBS EdTech YouTube channel. And today I will be explaining you about the form elements, the different type of form elements and its practical implementation. So the theoretical explanation about the form elements is already done in our part 1 video. So kindly watch it before watching this particular video. Okay, so now let's start understanding this. Okay, so let's move into our screen. What I have done is I have made a forms folder. Inside that, I have made a file named as index.html, and then the basic HTML syntax is there, in which I have in the title tag, I have named the title of my page as all form elements example. So you can name it as per as your requirement. Okay, it doesn't affect your code anywhere. Now in the body session, since we are dealing with form elements, the heading I have kept as form elements. And then let's understand the first tag in the form element, that is a label tag. So label tag defines a label for form elements. Okay, so the label, whatever you want to do, it will always be defined in your label tag. So what is the label? So if we check the output of this particular code, if this we check the code, what output of this, you can see like username. So this particular thing is known as the label. So you can rename it to whatever you need. So instead of username, if you want it as a client name, you can always rename it and just check the output. The label of this form has come as client name. Okay, so that is what is a label tag, and that is the use of the label tag. Next, let's move on to what is an input tag. So input tag is used to get input data from the form in various types such as text, password, email, etc. by changing its tag. So that is the use of the input tag. So in particular, this particular thing, what I have done, I have kept the type as text, because if someone is coming to our screen and there is a client name written, so that particular person should be typing the alphabets. So that is a text. Okay, and then in ID I have given as username, because we are targeting this label particular. So that is the reason ID name is given. So ID name will not come in use for the UI, but later when we have to connect it with the database, at that particular time ID comes into the picture. Next, we have name username. Since here we have defined as username, it has to be username here, and then it's required, and then I have given the BR tag. So the BR tag is nothing but it is pushing the next line of code to the next to display it on the next line. That is the use of the BR tag. Okay, so let's check the particular output. This is the label, and then text field, you can type your username. Okay. Okay, now let's move on to the next one, that is let's uncomment this. Let's just okay, let it be. Let's not uncomment this. Let's understand. The next one is also a text input, but instead of username field, we have used the password field here. So I'll just uncomment this for the time being. Control backslash. Okay, and then uncomment this, and it's your label. So the label of that particular form, I have kept it as password, since we are dealing with the password input field. And the heading kept is for password, and the label tag is close. Okay, let's check this. You can see, right? Password, I have kept the heading as label name as password. Input type is the password. Instead of text, it is password. ID is password, and again name I have kept as password, and then again we have a BI tag. Since it is required, so we have kept the required. Okay. So as you can see, this is also an example of text input itself, but instead of type, we have password. Okay, so it is password input. Okay. So now let's move on with the next element. That is the text area. So I'll comment this out. Favorite and check the idea. Okay. So what is happening here in the text area is the label name I have kept as message. The heading of the label is as message. The heading of the label is message. Next is text area ID as message and name is message. Rows and columns I have given, and then I have. So what is happening here is see the space the area which was there in password and as a client name was very less. Okay. So if somebody wants a comment to write on some blog page or anything related to that at that particular time, we need much area to be displayed in our page. So that is where we use this the text area field. So you can always define the rows and columns here. So let's instead of 50, let's take it as 100 and let's check the output, what happens. Okay, so it has increased its width. So columns it has increased, so the width has been increased. So you can adjust it as per as your requirement. That is where the text area comes into the picture. Okay, so it is used to get input long text from any user. Okay, next let's understand about a radio button. Let me uncomment this out so that you guys can understand it better. So the next one is the radio button. So what happens in the radio button? Radio button, let's me just show you the output first. So if you want to select any one between, like if you have a choice between two or three or four, you can only choose a particular thing, right? So in radio button, what is happening is, mm, start from here. Yeah. So in radio button, what is happening, you can say you have an option from here. I have as gender as the heading, label heading, and then I have male and female. Okay, so label heading I have kept as male and the label heading as a female. So the type is radio, so we can only select any one between these two. That is where radio buttons come into the picture. If you have multiple options and you want to select any one out of those, that time we use the radio button and radio button form element. Okay. Now let's move with the next one, that is checkbox. Okay, the input type is checkbox. ID we have given as subscribe. Name also we have given as subscribe. And value is yes. So label for equal to subscribe to the newsletter. So label we have kept as subscribe to the newsletter, and input type we have kept as checkbox. Okay. So label is subscribe to the newsletter. Input file is okay. So that is what is happening here into the checkbox part. Checkbox form element. Okay. Now let's move on to the next one. Let's comment this out. Next form element is a drop down. So, and where if we want to select between anything from the drop down, at that time we can use the particular select. We use the particular form element. Sorry, start from here again. So, in there, start from here again. So in there, we are using the drop down option. So here we have label of the thing as a country, and then we have given the option as India, Canada, and UK. So you can always type how many drop down you want. You just have to come here, Control V, and then instead of UK, you can give us yes. And then when you click on the drop down, you get options. So now let's move to the next one, that is the file input. So what is happening in the file input? Uh, let's comment this and then I can show you. What is happening? Yeah, you can see the drop down. We have noise. Okay, and next one is like a choose file type. So what is happening? Why we use this file label for this is input type is file. So if you want to choose any file from your local system, you can always use this particular format element. Okay. So now let's move on. You can always choose and you can select this and then let's open this. You can see this particular image has been selected. Okay. Now let's move to the next one. That is submit button. So if you have made any form, finally it has to be submitted. So for that thing, we are using the input type as submit and value I have made it as submit. So what is happening if you click? Well, no, nothing will happen because we have not defined that what should be happening when we click on the submit button. So let's understand how what we have to do when we submit the click on the submit button in the form. Let's yeah, this is the code actually. So what I have defined here is form action as submit and method as post. So whenever you want to connect your form to the database, you need to use this particular line of code. So for now, what I have done is I have redirected to the submit page. Okay, and then let's check the let's if you submit it. Okay, first we have to fill the data. Fine. So, and then after that, I can submit. So what is happening? As you saw, the URL has been changed, and we are now on the submit page. Okay. So that's what was I have written in the code that it had been redirected to the submit page. Any other action is not happening when we submit the. Okay, so that's it for today's video. We have understood about all the form elements and their examples. Please like our video. Please share it with your friends. If you find it is useful, please subscribe to our channel. And thank you for watching.